I'm interested to get your thoughts though on the wife of Robert Tellis versus like the mom of Robert Tellis, because the mom's in tears, and I can't imagine being the parent of Robert Tellis. His wife, it almost kind of felt like, she knew he was found guilty. He hasn't been around for a while. I think she's kind of liking life without Robert. She seemed pretty like just kind of, yeah, I'd love him to do that at some point. It'd be great to be around with the kids, but she was kind of like bubbly in a situation where your husband's never coming back, or it's going to be a very long time.
Yeah, I think that some people do better at understanding the ramifications sooner than
Hmm.
other parents. I mean, I just can't imagine as a parent, if you truly trusted and loved your child,
Hmm.
how you ever come to terms with that. A spouse is a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
And I think in this case, I think the best way to state it, she came to terms,
Yeah.
but she was going to stick by her man. And then I say this kind of jokingly. I always wonder if there's any deals in the background after watching what happened with Asa Ellerup. I mean,
Yes.
these
Yeah.
these you know picture these films, these short stories,
Hmm.
these Netflix, they're on top of these types of cases, and this is one that I think would attract a lot of viewership because it's so weird. And a journalist was involved trying to,
Hmm.
break stories about public corruption. Or people are fed up with public corruption in this country right now.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of felt like she was relieved. Like, and maybe that is it. I mean, you're sitting there for 3 years wondering what the fate of everything is going to be, and you finally found out. I'm guessing she probably already came to terms with what may happen here, and I could see that being a relief. Just having the answer, just knowing what's going to happen going forward. And if you really don't want him in your life, and you don't want to have to mess around with someone having some sort of leverage with divorce, pretty much got that. You're pretty much scot free going forward any way you want with the way that this all settled out. Let's take a look one more time, or for our time here at the prosecution, talking about what they believe should happen to Robert Tellis and why.
No one wins when crimes like these are committed. But one of the things that has to be abundantly clear about this is we're only here because of the actions of one person and one person alone. And it's the defendant. It was the manner in which the defendant chose to handle the situation that has created this ripple effect on his family as well as Jeff's. One of the things, when you do this long enough in our line of work, you see a lot of people come through the system. And the state would submit to you, he is not similarly situated to a lot of people. He is highly educated. He comes from a good, loving family. I'm not saying everyone does, but his upbringing is pretty good. When you think about the situation that he was in, the world wasn't going to end. He had simply lost an election. And the way Robert Tellis chose to handle this was devastating. And it was his choice and his choice alone. No one forced his hand. And so one of the things that we need to talk about is this idea of what they mentioned, retribution, redemption versus retribution. When you think about what happened in this case, think about the act that he committed upon Jeff. What was that? It was an act of retribution. Robert Tellis decided to be judge, jury, and literally the executioner of a man who was simply trying to do his job, to report the news. He executed him. He didn't have to do that.
Was this ever about the election and his job, or was this all about an affair? And the big bomb was about to go off, and he wanted to find some way to try and stop it.
So I truly believe it was his world crumbling. I
Yeah.
think he took such immeasurable a joy and feeling of accomplishment at having this government position. I think he probably had, desires to continue not only in that area of government, but maybe higher areas of government. And I think his ego was completely trampled upon when this happened. And I think that was the implosion more than the affair situation. But Tony, I wanted to add, in this closing, I wish prosecutors, and I'm sorry to sound like a Monday morning quarterback, but I really do wish prosecutors would focus on the victim.
Yeah.
Again, his whole statement, talking about how well educated he was and what a great family he came from. So now you're getting your jurors to empathize again. Why aren't we talking about Jeff
Yeah.
Gurman,
Yeah.
this wonderful man who walks out of the house, who was stabbed 7 times, who has his throat slit? I know that's all very graphic. That's what they need to think about, who's
Yeah.
taken away from his sister and his family and had done nothing wrong. That's what my argument would have been. I would have wanted everybody to fall in love with Jeff Gurman and feel terrible
Mhm.
for his family.
I completely agree. I feel like that kind of fell short a little bit, and I think that's part of why we ended up getting the sentence that we did. But well, game over on this one. We'll maybe be covering this again in I don't know, 20 years when he's when he's back out again and somebody ruins his life because they call him out on his shit. It'll be fascinating. I wonder how jail will treat this individual. We'll have to find out. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.